not here.
That was crazy. So good morning, friends and members, guests and metaphysicians. Welcome to Unity of Fort Wayne. I'm Reverend Wanda, and I serve Unity as spiritual leader. For those who may be wondering what Unity is all about, we are a community of positive, progressive, practical Christians. Practical meaning a daily practice of putting the Christ values into action. We encourage our community to question what you hear and to prove the Christ values for yourselves. And we call that faith in action. Jesus of Nazareth, whom we call our way shower, leaned on the support of those around him. And we do the same. Following the example and teachings of Jesus, we practice love by holding our agree and disagree in love statement as an important part of our community. So let's take a moment to welcome the abiding Spirit as we open our hearts and minds. Our invocation this morning is paraphrased from Merle Fillmore's personal letters, written in 1913 and found in the Unity Archives. Lord of my being, I would be untangled from the servitude and vicissitudes of the formed world. I would do all that you would have me do. I would be in this world, but not of it. And I would dwell in the glories of your omnipresent companionship. I would always be still enough to hear your voice instead of the confusion and clamor of the world of senses. I would know and not assume. And I would truly live and not exist. Give me your conscious support, and let me be filled with love and zeal that gives character and direction to the activities of my mind and body. I and you and me, and they and us made perfect in one. And so it is on that. As most of you know, I have a passion for unity and for Jesus. Jesus, our teacher. I have sought out truth and guidance from Scripture, from other faith traditions, from faithful friends and mentors, from my own inner knowing, and I have come to love Charles and Myrtle Fillmore as well. I find unity a good fit for me, and I am blessed to call it home. We unitics and spiritual leaders are generally more quiet, less likely to sermonize, but today, if you allow me, I'm going to preach a little.
Yeah.
A skill my husband says I have lots of experience in. If what I say today does not resonate with you, I'm okay with that. That's fine. For here at Unity, we welcome you and your questions, and don't believe anything I say. But if it offers you some assistance, I appreciate that. Recently, I shared a bit of Taoism and Buddhism, so taking these teachings and some unity teachings, some traditional Christianity, along with just a smidgen of that Baptist zeal. Shake it all around, and this is what I have for you today. So if you want to be happy, stop trying to be happy. Most of us would like to be happy. We want our children to be happy. I want you to be happy. I want to be happy. Just happiness all around. Happy. And for most people, happiness is the most important goal of their lives. Thus, we attempt to achieve happiness and avoid misery at all costs. So if you don't want to be miserable for the rest of your life, stop trying to be happy. For happiness, or that feeling of happiness, is usually self-focused, external, circumstantial, and associated with having a sense of control. Happiness, as the poet claims, is fleeting. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, taught that happiness, now listen to this, this is from Fillmore, taught that happiness here and now. Happiness here and now is the beautiful part of Jesus' teaching. Jesus did not defer help nor salvation to a world to come after death, but taught that it was attainable right now. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and demonstrated by his words that happiness would shine forth in our bodies and minds if only we would follow the way that he pointed out. Happiness is our right as heirs of a kingdom of heaven. You don't have to look for it or strive for it. It is already within you. Don't try to be happiness, for happiness is what you are. This is Unity's first and second principle. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. And I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. So I encourage you to look instead for those things, those thoughts and actions that block the flow that is already within you. Look instead and be mindful of those moments of joy, that intense feeling of connectedness, pleasure, and appreciation. And while experiencing joy, we do not lose ourselves. You do not lose yourself, but you become more fully yourself. And joy comes through the practice of gratitude. As gratitude grows and spirals up to joy, deep spiritual connection, pleasure, and appreciation will follow. And here are a few tips to follow if you want to be happy. Okay? You don't have to look for it. Okay, here's the Baptist part right here. Okay, ready? All right. Stop taking things for granted. Be present. And notice the things that bring you joy. Stop trying to be happy. Practice gratitude instead. And be mindful of all the good around you. Stop comparing yourself to others. And there will always be those who are richer or poorer, prettier or not so pretty, taller and shorter, thinner or not so thin, stronger or weaker. Generally, you get the idea. And the only way out of comparison is, you guessed it, gratitude. And I don't mean the kind of gratitude that comes from comparison, but the gratitude that comes from living in this present moment. Stop holding on to the past. The past does not exist, period. It has no reality other than what is in your mind. Amen. And each time you revisit the past, you lose a little of now, this present moment. And I will tell you, this present moment is all you have. And there are certain things in life that you cannot change. You cannot change the fact that everything changes and ends. Things do not always go to plan, and life is not always fair. Pain is a part of life, and people are not always loving and loyal all the time. To the best of our ability to love one another, we are different. We see the world through each of our own lens. And if you are mindful enough to accept these 5 facts, it will help you release the pain and the regret that you may feel from holding on to the past. I call this the isness of life.
Amen.
No one gets a pass. No one. No one is special. So stop holding on to the past. Stop holding on to your old grudges, your scars, and your wounds. Be fully present now.
Amen.
Next. Okay. Stop talking poorly about yourself. Our third principle states, I create my experiences by what I choose and think and what I feel and believe. Thoughts held in mind, creating time. So speak to yourself and about yourself as if you were speaking about someone who you dearly love. Stop isolating yourself. And this isn't about being an extrovert or an introvert or extrovert. It's about living in community. All human beings require human contact and communication in order to be healthy. However, do not expect others to make you happy. Stop spending a sedentary life indoors. Spend some time in nature and anchor yourself to the earth. I will tell you those times when I feel most melancholy or have a decision to make, I take off my shoes and I walk on the earth. I walk on the grass. I walk on the grass. And I walk and walk until I have some clarity. Spend some time in appreciation for the beauty and majesty all around us. And hug a tree every now and then. It really is good therapy. Any physical activity will improve your mood and increase your energy level. Stop living in an unhealthy physical environment. Using our power of order, keep your surroundings as free from clutter and as clean as possible. Release material objects that no longer serve you. Keep only what you find useful or beautiful. As a retired interior designer, I can tell you the best interior design is cleanliness. Consume healthy foods as well, and do not neglect your physical self-care. Okay, here's the big one, at least for today. Stop consuming negative entertainment. I know of a young woman who is terrified of strangers, but she spends much of her time watching murder shows on television. She can tell you in detail all about the serial killers and every rapist recorded in history. She is literally feeding her fear every day. So, and I am guilty of this, what about the cable news networks? They politically divide us, they misinform us, and lull us to spiritually sleep. And frankly, I'm just going to tell you, I'm tired of it all. Likewise, do not overindulge in social media. The violence we witness every day on television and in movies fuels our misery and our happiness. Look to be an informed person regarding current events, but do not give it a lot of time otherwise. Stop neglecting your hobbies. Give yourself time to create. Create music, create art, create a beautiful garden, and read good books. Build something, do puzzles. Get lost in that timelessness of creating. Dance and sing. Okay, stop procrastinating important tasks. I'm so guilty of it. Procrastination leads to stress and anxiety and robs us of our time. You don't have to be perfect, just do it. Do the best you can and do whatever is yours to do. And stop expecting massive leaps. Just stay steady, be kind to yourself, and accept your own spiritual pace. Growth takes time, and allow yourself the time to gently bloom. And stop overlooking the core causes of your unhappiness. Practice mindfulness and sit in the silence and be still and review all of the above. And stop hiding your problems from others. Seek out a trusted friend, advisor, or spiritual director, and be willing to seek professional help. Once a trusted therapist helped me go through one of the darkest times of my life, and I am so forever grateful. For there is no shame or failure in asking for help. Today, affirm your connection with divine mind. We're just going to pause here. Just close your eyes, take a moment, and say, today I affirm my connection with divine mind. Align your heart and mind through meditation and affirmative prayer, allowing the good, the happy, and joyful to come into manifestation. Allow the good, the happy, and joyful to come into manifestation. Jesus said, I am the light, and you are the light. So let your light shine, knowing that it does make a difference. Do your best and live joyfully, gratefully, and by allowing, not seeking, the flow of good, the flow of happiness, and the flow of peace. Stop trying to be happy and just allow. And I would like to share with you loving direction, the directives for an aspiring mystic written by Sharon Quinn, all of which will help you allow the flow of happiness. Be one with Spirit. Converse with God. Pray constantly. Meditate consistently. Sing in gratitude and rely on God's wisdom. Strive for purity of mind, purity of body, and purity of heart. And remind yourself of God and goodness. Come alive in nature, lose yourself in music, bury yourself in sacred books, and create tiny altars. And be kind. Practice kindness with every breath, with every word, and every action you take. And be generous. Be generous with your time, be generous with your kindness, and be generous with your substance, because you can. Be grateful. And be grateful for all of those who serve you. And be grateful for God who created all. Be grateful for God who created you. And be grateful for the Spirit that infuses you. And do good. Be of service in this moment, in wise livelihood and in sacred transitions. And for meditation today, I have a piece of music called Inner Light, and I dedicate that